Khamzat or Islam?
I cannot
You
do
know,
this.
say it.
I cannot do this.
Say it.
I cannot do this for my job. I cannot do this. But they're both very good. Both very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm Team Wolf. Team Wolf. Team Hamza.
Hey, he would be Team Wolf after he just took your ass down too. He took you down too. Everybody killed this guy, man.
Everyone.
He lost. He lost it.
Hey, everybody can take me down, but
Hey,
DC.
he lost it. He lost it.
I believe that there have been 3 fights, maybe 4 max, where the trash talk has gotten so personal that it's sort of uncomfortable for some to digest. The first one, you can make the case, Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva. The second one, you can make the case, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. The third one, which is the one that I'm sort of like saying maybe, maybe not, but I think you could put it in that category, was Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman, and this would be the 4th. And I would say not since Conor Khabib have we seen trash talk that like talked about religion, ethnicities, things of that nature. And so when he's talking about these things, he's saying these things to a guy who like doesn't mess around. He doesn't mess around. He's like Khamzat, like he's not that guy. Not to suggest that Sean is afraid of that, worried about that, anything like that. I just hope that they are truly ready for something very bad to happen next week. And what I mean by very bad, obviously, I'm not talking about like a death or someone getting shot, but like this could get so inflammatory that the fight gets called off. Like there's a brawl, someone gets hurt. Who knows?
If anyone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be a guy like Sean Strickland. So, you know, it is hard to say. I do feel like Khamzat could, you know, has a higher probability to win, but Sean Strickland, if anyone's going to be able to fucking somehow say fuck it and beat him, it's going to be him. But we'll wait and see.
That'd be awesome, though. Imagine so Strickland, like you start noticing it. Round 2, 3, starts stuffing the takedowns. He's keeping Chimaev to the body. Chimaev, he doesn't like it, you know. He's looking a bit off. He's bleeding a little bit. Strickland's walking him down. Come on, Khamzat.
You never know how these weigh-ins are these weight cuts, too. Khamzat's a big motherfucker. Hasn't fought in a while. Just seems like he's fucking huge. You never know how these weight cuts go, the rehydration goes. And that all plays into it. You never know how their fight camps are going. Someone could be dealing.
The moment Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland enter the octagon, it will not be a regular bout, but an explosive clash between chaos and control. While the first fighter is known for his constant pressure and dominance, the second fighter revels in the heat of combat with a psychological approach that can psychologically crush his opponents. Tensions are no longer low, they are boiling, and there is plenty of talk about this matchup. It is clear that both fighters' egos have been inflated. Only one thing will matter when the bell rings.
I have never, ever, in all my time, seen someone so dominant than Khamzat in training camp. I'm talking, and it's not even remotely close. Like I would see GSP struggle with certain aspects of training camp. I see Rashad, Bisbing, the Shane Carwin, right? He was my close training partner. Lyoto Machida. They would excel at certain parts, and then if it went to this area of mixed martial arts, you would see them get choked out or have some issues. I'm talking complete domination across the board, and it's not like, oh man, that was a good back and forth. This is good training. You're like, oh my God. And it also wasn't like he was going against Joe Blows. You're talking, I'm not going to out any guys. Yeah. You're talking All-Americans, national champion wrestlers, jiu-jitsu world champions,
Thai fighters,
elite strikers. And I was just like, what in the and I'm talking ruthless. Not like going easy. I'm talking ruthless where you're like, oh, he's going to kill somebody. And it's just the way he trains.
However, there is one perspective which is particularly noteworthy, as pointed out by Chael Sonnen, who draws on the experiences of Darren Till against Chimaev and Strickland. Till is quite definite on the fact that bringing Strickland down is not going to be an easy job. However, he believes that Chimaev will come out as the larger man between the two. This brings us to the point where the term larger takes up new significance, since there is no disparity in the sizes of the two contenders. This indicates that larger is not a mere numerical comparison, but a psychological factor which could make the difference in the ring.
He has sparred with Chimaev, he has sparred with Sean Strickland, he is now coming out and he's telling us Sean Strickland is really hard to take down. And he comes out and he says that he believes Chimaev will be the bigger, stronger athlete. And that, for me, I just found interesting. I wish he would have elaborated on that, because that must be figuratively. It must not mean literally. I mean, they're going to get on the scale. Nobody's going to be bigger or stronger. Well, they might be stronger. Nobody's going to be bigger. They're going to weigh the exact same, so it must be.
Afterwards, Sonnen goes on to talk about yet another topic, the conditioning of Chimaev. He mentions how there used to be questions about his cardio abilities because of the obvious exhaustion during the bout with Kamaru Usman, but never considered it an actual problem. The purpose of a fighter being exhausted after such a pace is that it reflects the effort, not the weakness. In conjunction with the previous discussion of pressure, it leads to an interesting idea. If Chimaev exhausts himself, chances are he broke you beforehand.
Now, I thought we had put the rumors of Chimaev's conditioning behind us. This was all the rave. If you guys... Right? If you can, like, get into your mental time machine and go back to the build-up of Chimaev versus Dricus, all the talk was that Chimaev couldn't hold up, that he would fatigue, that he couldn't go championship rounds. Some of the evidence that he couldn't go championship rounds was the level of fatigue that he reached in his 3-round contest against Kamaru Usman. Like, this was all part of the narrative. And I always resisted it. I like when a guy gets tired. A guy should be tired. A guy should be exhausted. I've heard coaches come out and say, all right, this athlete, you see him after his last fight, he was so tired. If I'm a coach, if you go into a fight and you come out anything less than exhausted, I'm going to have a real problem with that.
Taking things a step further, Sonnen even gives an entire different view on the conditioning aspect. For him, the conditioning debate is not about being able to avoid exhaustion, but about reaching exhaustion faster than your opponent does, or simply overcoming it regardless. In regard to Chimaev, Sonnen suggests that this could even be true for him because of what Darren Till said about his fight with Chimaev, and even Strickland, who sparred with him, agrees with this idea.
It's the person that can get to exhaustion first and stay there. People will reach exhaustion and then they will stop what they're doing. The champion will reach exhaustion and continue on. And I only tell you that because I did feel that we saw that with Chimaev. I kind of thought the talk of get Chimaev tired and make a coward out of him was behind us. I have simply never seen it. But Darren Till commented on it, and that had my attention because Sean Strickland, who's also trained with Chimaev, made a somewhat similar comment. Sean Strickland said that Chimaev in the first round when they would spar, he would use so much energy that in the second round he would have to grab a lesser opponent. I'm interested in that.
While MMA Guru also sides with Chimaev, albeit cautiously, he states that even though Strickland is an able grappler, his wrestling can be a completely different matter altogether, one which very few people have figured out how to do successfully. Though Strickland's recent win shows that he poses serious threats, the worry comes from the fact that Chimaev has several avenues for controlling how the fight goes, whether it will be by being dominant at the start or by switching to strikes when things become stale near the end of the fight.
I feel like I have to go with Chimaev here, unfortunately. Strickland's a really good grappler, but it's just fucking
levels
annoying how good Chimaev is at wrestling, dude. It's fucking pathetic. And also, I feel like Chimaev has I feel like you need to be a guy who can stuff the takedowns, but then also have the power to just put out Chimaev on the feet.
Yeah.
And Strickland's very good, and he did get a finish in his last fight, which was impressive.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just feel like Chimaev's going to have too much ability to coast if he doesn't get his way in some of the rounds. Like if it gets to round 4 and 5 and he can't get his takedowns as much, he can just kind of float around a bit with Strickland on the feet compared to like someone else.
Although O'Malley recognizes that it's not easy, his gut tells him to lean towards Chimaev. It's all clear-cut for O'Malley because the plan involves takedowns, putting pressure from the top, and then using his striking ability on the mat or finishing his opponent off, but he can't deny the 25-minute element. The durability of Strickland is an open book, but it's the process of having to do it over and over again, of being taken down, being put back on his feet, being brought back to the ground, and doing this repeatedly.
God, yeah, it's hard to say. My I feel like I just want to say, you know, Khamzat's going to win. He's going to take him down. He's going to, whether he holds him down or beats, you know, ground and pound or finds a submission. But part of me's like, it's 25 minutes. Strickland's got a crazy gas tank, but we've never really seen his gas tank's so good, but it's never been, at least that I can remember, been tested in a sense to where he is getting taken down and having to work his way up. And then he gets taken down again and have to work his way up because that shit's fucking exhausting. Like that's the most exciting thing. Like when I fought Merab the second time, in that third round, he took me down. I got up like 4 or 5 times, and it's just exhausting to keep getting back up. And
it affects your striking, makes you
everything.
second guess things.
Yeah, so I'm curious, but I would love to see fucking Khamzat take down Strickland, just, you know, get back up and, you know, bring it to Khamzat and just be a war. But
in the breakdown of Chimaev versus Strickland, Brendan Schaub remains divided. He has seen firsthand how physically and psychologically frightening Chimaev can be, but despite all of that, he cannot help but root for Strickland on an emotional level. Brendan considers Strickland an easy fighter to cheer for because of his personality and how he always manages to keep the sport in the spotlight with all his antics, whether he agrees with his statements or not. Overall, Brendan refuses to make any solid predictions about this matchup as he wants to remain divided.
That one's tough. I root for Strickland. I like Khamzat too. He's, you know, I've been in his training camp. He's a really, really good dude. Super scary. I root for Strickland. We need more American stars. Obviously, he says outlandish shit, which I don't agree with everything, but he is good for the business. And he's American, so I root for Strickland. I like Strickland. I really like Strickland. I think he's, you know, he's a product of today's environment where, you know, our president cusses. If you see any young kid on YouTube, the outlandish shit that they say, he's a product of that. Like if this is 10 years ago, buddy, he's probably getting arrested or they're canceling his fights. But now it's just the bar has been, I don't say higher, the bar.
Schaub ups the ante when he says he has never been watching Chimaev and thinking that he is an underdog. Based on the many years of training with some of the best, such as John Jones, Georges St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, and others, Schaub maintains that nothing comes close to Chimaev's dominance inside the gym. It's not just about talent for Schaub, but more about the ability to control and apply pressure. He believes that he has never seen anything like Chimaev's dominance in training within the world of martial arts.
So I root for Strickland. I'll say this: I've never watched a Khamzat fight or even gone into it and thought he was going to lose. Just haven't. And then I saw him train. I've been around a long time, man. I've trained with Lyoto Machida. I've trained with John Jones. Been in GSP's camps. Anderson Silva, Verdum, Mark Munoz, Bisbing, Tony Ferguson, Shane Carwin, Nate Marquardt, Rashad Evans. I mean, Wonderboy Thompson, Stipe. I've trained with everybody. I have never, ever in all my time seen someone so dominant than Khamzat in training.
On the other hand, Brendan Allen doesn't leave much room for doubt when sizing up the matchup. He sees Chimaev as operating on a completely different technical level. In his view, Strickland's style is built around awkward rhythm and durability rather than layered skill, while Chimaev brings a sharper, more complete toolkit along with a calmer, more controlled mindset. He even suggests that the gap isn't just physical or tactical, but mental too, with Chimaev appearing more composed and evolved in how he approaches fights. For him, that combination makes the matchup feel heavily tilted before it even begins.
I think Khamzat's too skilled. Sean's kind of a one-trick pony, kind of lazy, doesn't really possess a crazy amount of skill. He's just super awkward when you're in there with him, and if you've never experienced that, then it's a shock. But I think I think he's too skilled. I think he's going to be too skilled. I think now he's older, he's smarter, he's wiser with his mentality, with his emotions, and his skill level. I think he's just going to be too much for Sean, and I think how he approaches the fight is going to shock a lot of people.
On another angle, Dominic Cruz suggests this middleweight clash has all the ingredients of a grudge match, but not necessarily because of deep personal hatred. In his view, it's more about fight week tension and identity, two strong personalities refusing to blink first. Both Chimaev and Strickland carry a reputation they feel compelled to defend, which turns every interview and face-off into a contest of ego as much as skill. Cruz describes it as a kind of escalating who's tougher performance, where neither can afford to soften their image and the pressure just keeps building as they try to outdo each other before they even step into the cage.
Does this feel like a real grudge match for this middleweight title?
I think, yeah, you can't tell. I think they both have the temperament that it could be. But realistically, I think this is just fight week pressure, and they both have an image to uphold, and both of them are going to flex bigger than the other one because that's the type of personality that they bring. They can't start being nice now. You know what I mean? They can't start being like, they've got to be the crazy guy. And now they're going to out crazy each other to see who's tougher, is how I see it. It's like, no, I'm crazier than you. You can't be crazier than me because I've already shown you how crazy I am, right? And it's just...
Cruz extends the breakdown into the technical matchup on the feet, and it fits right into that rising tension between styles. He explains that Chimaev isn't a pure striker. His striking is always layered with the threat of wrestling, and that alone forces opponents into hesitation, constantly switching between defending high and low. That split-second caution is where openings appear. Meanwhile, Strickland's approach is almost tailor-made for this kind of pressure, relying on a disciplined jab and steady positioning that doesn't overextend or invite easy takedowns. It sets up a chess match on the feet where pressure meets structure.
Striking, like can Chimaev effectively strike with, you know, Sean's boxing and those teep kicks? Like if he's, how do you see kind of that going if this doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, it's a stand-up fight too. Like it's a good stand-up battle. Chimaev obviously is dynamic, but his mixture of strikes in wrestling is what's going to set up his striking. He's never just going to purely strike. He's always going to add in the takedown attempts and the threat. So that threat drops your hands. You have to respect it. It kind of... You just have to respect the high-low thing. When they're reaching for your legs, your defense has to come down, up, down, and that creates openings in the striking. And so I see that's how he's going to create openings if they're on the feet and if he doesn't get the takedown. Strickland, it's going to be the same fight that he's always fought. His style is actually built for this style. He funnels single legs. He throws the jab, which doesn't overcommit the hips, so it's hard to lock up two legs when the hip...
Moreover, John Giannis makes no secret of where his loyalty sits. He's backing Strickland and hoping he can deliver a statement win for the US, but even while rooting for him, he's curious about how the fight actually unfolds. If Chimaev secures early takedowns, what does Strickland look like getting back to his feet, and can he fire off his kicks and build a rhythm like he has in past performances? For him, the intrigue is in the details, whether Strickland can survive the grappling storm long enough to make it a competitive stand-up battle, or whether Chimaev's pressure shuts it all down early.
Man, okay, I rock with Strickland, man. I really do rock with Strickland. I hope maybe he can pull it off and represent, you know, the U.S. in a real way. I'm excited to see like what kind of get-ups he has whenever Chimaev does take him down, or if you know how long is it gonna take for Chimaev to take him down, and if he can get back up and start using those teeps and kind of really have a good game plan like he had against Hernandez. I mean, could be an interesting fight, and I don't know, I'm pulling for Strickland.
So who takes it, Khamzat Chimaev or Sean Strickland? Drop your pick in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fight breakdowns and updates.